I wanted to make a quick video just to show that the Strymon Iridium does work with the Chase Bliss Faves pedal. There's already a video that Chase Bliss made to show how to make the Riverside work with it, and most of the stuff applies here. There's a couple differences, but if you go watch that video, it gets you most of the way there. So the first thing you have to do is set up the expression jack to work with MIDI, to be looking for MIDI rather than expression or contact closure or whatever. So you need to hold down the favorite switch while powering on the pedal. It'll blink a couple times, and then you want to move this guy, and you can see that LED on the right. So move the level knob until that LED turns blue. So it's kind of in the 1 to 2 o'clock range. And that means it's set up for MIDI. Hit it again, and it saves it. Okay, the next thing you need to do is set up the MIDI channel that you want to use. And to do that, you have to hold down both foot switches while powering it on. That'll flash again. And the drive knob is what sets the MIDI channel. Green is channel 0, or maybe 1. It's the first channel. Amber is the second channel. That's the one that the Faves uses. The default is green, so you need to change it to amber, and then same thing, just hit the on button and it'll save it. So now this guy's all set up. One thing you have to do with the Faves, by default it comes, it's meant to be used with a TRS cable, and it sends the MIDI commands on the ring. But the Strymon pedals look for it on the tip, which means you can just use a normal TS, instrument cable. But it means you have to swap this jumper, and if you can see, there's basically 3 little contacts in there, and you need to swap it from the upper 2 to the lower 2. And it's labeled with T and R, and you just need to make sure it's moved down to the lower 2, and it's labeled as T. So I don't know if I can get a better look at that. Not really, but that's okay. That's kind of the hardest thing you have to do to get it up and running. And then we just, let's try out some sounds. So I just have my looper. I'll just have it playing this loop over and over as soon as my speaker turns on. Okay, so since there's no light lit up here for the favorite, it means you're just in live mode, so whatever's on the knobs is running. So if you hit the favorite switch, I have mine set up for just like a Fendery kind of clean tone, and then as always, if you move any of the knobs around, it'll adjust it, and then when it turns green, that's where your preset was set for that specific knob. Okay, now we're in live mode again. So let's say we want to save a new favorite that's like really heavy drive sound, I guess. And we'll save that. So one thing to know, that the Strymon pedals use preset 0 as their favorite, or preset, I think it is, as the favorite. And the Faves, so you'll see the Faves when this light is not lit up. That's when it's on channel 0. On the Chase Bliss pedals, they use that as their live setting, but here you'll see it switch to favorite because the favorite switch turns red, and when you're using any of the other MIDI channels, it turns amber. So, for example, the way that this works is this is on live. This is your preset. There's only 3 presets, and there's 3 banks. And for each bank, so the red bank is bank number 2, and now I have the 2 presets associated with that, red and green. And when that's off, it's always just your favorite. So you always have access to the favorite regardless of what bank you're in. Now I'm in bank 3, there's preset 1 and 2, and there's my favorite. So if I go back to bank 0, you can see that this is on my favorite still. And when I choose any of those other ones, the favorite light turns amber. Okay, so to set up your presets for the first time, the easiest way is to have it in live mode so you don't have a favorite chosen. So for example, I have this crazy driven sound with a ton of bass. And what I'm going to do is go back to bank 1, and I'm going to set it up for my first preset, so for the red one. And you can hear it's like this. It's really dark. All bass, nothing else. So I'll hold down the favorite switch until it turns blue, and you'll hear it switch back to that sound. And then I send the MIDI preset command that I want to be associated with that. So since I sent the red one, now that preset is going to be associated with red. So green one is quieter. There's kind of the Fender one. And there's the crazy dark one. So we know that saved it. Then, for example, if we want to start from scratch, well, that's how you save a preset from scratch. Now, let's say we want to save one from an existing preset. So I have this one set up, and it's basically, I have one of the IRs in here as kind of an acoustic simulator. So it sounds like an acoustic guitar. It doesn't sound great, but whatever. And the way it works is if you change any of these knobs, it only adjusts that specific knob. So everything else will stay the same. So for example, the treble, and you won't hear it, but if I'm just adjusting that one and I resave that preset, the only thing that will have changed is the treble, regardless of where the other knobs are actually set. But let's say we want to change it back to cab A. Actually, you can hear how much quieter that is. Actually, cab A, it was already on. So if we just change through our presets, you can hear that's pretty loud. So that isn't my acoustic sim. So if I switch this down to cab C, you can hear it's quite a bit quieter. So since we already have that preset going, I just wanted to make that one change to it. I'll hold down this guy, and you can hear it still that super quiet. And just hit the Fave switch again, and it will save it in whatever the current MIDI channel was. So now, there's my channel 0, or my favorite. There's my driven sound that I had in preset 1 here. There's my super quiet sound, and it had saved it from last time. So let's say we want to make that actually one of these other, let's do the Marshall one so you can hear it's quite a bit louder. And actually, let's make it driven. It's still on my channel 2 here. So we'll save it like that. If we cycle back through, you'll hear just from the noise that it's saved in there again. And that's basically it. Again, the only thing to kind of wrap your head around is the fact that every bank, when this light's off, or like in the preset 0 or 1, whatever you want to call it, it's always going to be your favorite. And you can also access that just by pressing the favorite switch. If you want to get out of any of these, so there I'm in bank 2, preset 2, depending on how you name them. And I can just hit the favorite switch to go to the favorite, hit it again to get out of MIDI mode entirely, and then it's just live based on where the knobs are set. That's about it.